Davey, same feelings after Friday, after some time to review it?
Yeah, I actually spoke to the boys after the game and I thought it was a really accomplished performance, but I went home, watched the game Saturday, I need to get my days right here, watched the game on Saturday. It was actually, they were much better than I actually gave them credit for, and I thought they played well on Friday night, but when I watched the game back, the structure behind the ball and on the ball was very, very good. So they were very good performance.
I was going to ask you, what does a Saturday look like for the Martindales without a game? Like,
I still try and get out of the house with Airdrie. So I was at Airdrie, Morton, Neely was at Hibs, Ross County and Chipper, as Chipper does. Chipper picked the furthest game in the country.
Are both Inverness or something?
No, it's in our league that's relevant to us, so he's at Airdrieonians, just in case somebody jumped in and took it before him. So Chipper claimed that a couple of weeks ago. So Chipper went to Airdrieonians Falkirk, I went to Airdrie Morton and Neely went to Hibs Ross County.
Fair enough. You talked about Airdrie kind of post-match on Friday about their kind of negative momentum and things like that. They did come from behind twice against Great Morton, so you can tell they're still kind of fighting and up for it.
Yeah. Listen, again, they're a wee bit unlucky. Morton, it was probably a draw. I left just after the second goal, to be fair. But it was a fairly decent performance for both teams. They don't look like a team that's sitting down there at that point. It was sitting on 5 points. They don't look like a team that's sitting on 5 points. I don't think there's any easy game at this league. I really don't. But again, we go into every game, we look at what we do, how do we want to play, what are we going to do, not really how the opponents are going to play, to be fair. But they were okay. It was a decent game of football.
Thing is, they did come here in the first game and they kind of opened up first half, especially they came out, they popped it, gave us a go, kind of dropped off a wee bit in the second half. Do we expect more of the same?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't think they're as aggressive in their press. I'm hoping they come in presses, to be honest, but I think they dropped off yesterday, kind of in that mid-block in a 4-4-2 kind of shape. Don't probably play as much as what they have done in the past, so it's just trying to get that. I'd imagine Reece is just trying to get the balance right between performances and picking points up. So, being there myself, you try all different things. You can't keep doing what you were doing. So I think they'll probably come off and sit in a mid block, and it'll be up to us to try and break them down. And they've got good pace. They look after the ball, and they'll try and hit us in the transitions.
Fair. Obviously, results did go our way yesterday as well. Kind of maybe it adds a wee bit more to Tuesday that can get back to 2 points. And
I am pretty conscious of speaking about stuff like that with the group, because then you're relying on things that are out with your control in terms of other teams, what happens elsewhere. But there's a wee bit of added bonus going win your game in hand, but takes you a wee bit closer to Falkirk. But I always knew that was going to be a difficult game. I think Ayers lost 2 games down there, if I'm right, at home, and we were one of them. So there's no many teams go down there and beat them down there. We done it. So I knew it was going to be a difficult game. I knew it was potential when you're looking at fixtures. There's potentially a banana skin there. But you look throughout the league, and I think you could say that most teams, most venues, I think there's no much between teams, and everybody on their day, they perform, they do well, especially at home. You've got a chance of winning the game.
Yeah. We've obviously had a pretty settled defensive unit. That central midfield battle seems to be kind of heating up a wee bit though, in terms of we've got quite a few numbers all try to gain a shot.
Yeah, I think Reece has been really patient. Jamie and Pitts have probably been the 2 constants in there. Back four's been the back 4. Chris has had niggling injuries. Danny Wilson's come in, he's picked up injuries. So that back four's kind of been really consistent, and I think that's us now sitting in 8 clean sheets after 16 games. Put it into perspective, I think it was 38 games last year and we had 7 clean sheets. Different level, different challenges. But if you look at 50% of our league fixtures this year, we've managed to get a clean sheet, and it's a full group. Obviously it's a full group, but you look at the back 4 and Jerome, and I think that's the key fundamentals of any defensive unit. Go and get a clean sheet, so they've got to take shoes positives from that. But I think the back four's been the one constant. Pitts and Jamie, you kind of tweak the top half at times, but Stevie May's probably been the other one, and Stephen Kelly. To be honest, Stephen probably wouldn't have came out of the team, to be fair, if he never picked up that wee hamstring knock. So Stephen came out the team with a hamstring, and Reece went in and kind of had decent games. I'm very big. There's got to be a way in the team and a way out of the team, and a way out of the team isn't always just performance. There's injuries attached to that. So I think if the boys are there, they're playing well, you're getting decent results, you've kind of got to be fairly consistent in terms of how you're picking your team. I'll always change the wide areas, always tweak that slightly, it depends on who we're playing, what their full-backs are like, and what I think is going to be a strength for us in that game. So the wide areas, we've kind of been tweaking that a wee bit. Tetty's kind of come in and he's probably been the other constant of late. But boys come in the team and score goals. It's very, very difficult to then take them out of the team.
On those wide areas, we seem to go through a wee phase at the start of the season where we maybe didn't get the output of the wide players at the start of the game. Subs would come on, make a big impact, start, and then maybe get in the following week, and then we'd kind of go through that cycle almost. But we seem to get a wee bit more consistency week on week.
It's the one area, the top end of the park's the one area where you look at, well, the back, but the midfield's fairly consistent with what we had last year. You throw Reece in there, but Jamie, Shinnie, Pitts and Stephen Kelly were all here last year. The top end of the park's where the massive amount of changes have really been in terms of the wide areas in your 9. So it was always going to be an area of the park, I feel, that you had to spend a lot more time on. It was going to take a lot more time for that group to gel together and find a way to play, then throw in the full-backs who are new at the club. So the wide areas, the relationships were still to grow through that test of time, organically develop. And what you probably find at most clubs, the wingers are probably the most inconsistent position on a football field. It's just typical of wingers. So we've got 4 wingers at the club now, and they're all fighting for 2 spaces. But generally, coming into a game, you're needing goals, you're changing the top end of the park. And again, if you're winning the game, you want to bring a wee bit more energy into the top end of the park as the game goes on. It's the top end you change. So it's the one area of the park where you're needing 2 right wingers, 2 left wingers, 2 9s. You're needing that up there. But no, definitely in terms of the back 4, they've been really, really consistent. I think now you can see that relationship growing. There's a real good stability, continuity about that back 4, and throw Jerome into that.
We're any closer to seeing the likes of Danny Wilson or anything return?
Danny shouldn't be a million miles away. I've no checked today, but he was out doing a bit of running today. So Danny, Sean Donlan's probably a wee bit further away, but Danny shouldn't be a million miles away.
No worries, Stevie. Thanks for your time.